watching Kenosha Community Television.
Well, pay Jason for me.
Either he wants to say something or eat something, one of the two.
Take the opportunity to put our musical interest.
Acting, dancing, and now singing a Grammy winner.
After those movies, and particularly Night Shift, and we did Gung Ho.
Really? Never knew that. Okay, here we are at the Kenosha Area Family and Aging Services, and I am with your name.
My name is Barbara Tenuta.
And Barb, what role do you have here?
I am the manager of Volunteer Transportation Service, and we recruit volunteer drivers throughout the community to help people that are 60 years and older or someone with a disability that take people to medical appointments, cancer treatments, dialysis, fun appointments, hair appointments, social activities, for people that are unable to take public transportation but may no longer be independent. So we need to help them out, get in the community, and stay independent.
And it's through the Kenosha community and outlying areas?
It is. We recruit people usually through Kenosha. However, we do rides that are in Kenosha. We go to Chicago. We go to Milwaukee. To Freighted is a very common one. We've gone as far as Madison and also Mayo Clinic if we're able to find drivers that are able and willing to do that.
And as far as about how many drivers do you have now or appointments?
I would say we have about 65 to 70 drivers, some in the county, some in the city, and we usually take about 700 rides a month.
Okay, wow. Okay, here we are again at Kafasi, and I am with your name.
Louise Bucko.
Louise, what do you volunteer here for?
I'm a volunteer driver, and I absolutely love what I do. As Barb told you, once a week I get a request for what days or hours am I available for next week. I get to pick how much time I give, what days, and so it's freedom, but it's so enjoyable to, my life is so blessed. So this is one way of giving back to life, and I keep getting blessed over and over from the clients. They're just, I get to know them and we share stories. And then when I get a notice to take a certain driver, I'm expected to call that rider right away and let them know they've got a driver. And when I call them, they say, "Oh, Louise, I get to see you again." And I said, "And I get to see you again." So, yeah, it is. It's just wonderful. Not only knowing that you're helping their life, but we share stories with each other about both of our lives, and it's like making new friends. And then they always let me know, and I'm sure the other drivers, of how much they value not just the ride, but that we're all so helpful and so nice.
And with your name?
Dawn Scow.
Don, what's your role here at for the Volunteer Transportation?
I work with Barb Tenuta and coordinate the rides. That means I match riders with the drivers according to what the drivers want to do and what the riders need. Okay. So my job during the processes of the day is to help people get where they need to go and take all the information regarding the ride.
As far as the response from the volunteer drivers, what do you get?
They love what they do. They really love what they do. And we try very hard to give them the types of rides they want, how long, where, what days of the weeks, and the times that they're available. So we work very hard with that because we want them to have a good experience. We want them to know that it's a rewarding thing to do. And so we try very hard to satisfy what their desires are.
I'm sure that there's areas in the community that they haven't been to, which is kind of part of the experience as well.
Oh yeah, and we even have people that maybe moved to this area and have volunteered in other areas and aren't familiar with getting around some. So doing this helps them get familiar with getting around the area. So Yeah, we have all kinds of volunteers. Some of them from out of the area. Some of them live out of the area and haven't necessarily moved here and want to volunteer with the service and help out.
Well, Barb, talking with everybody and listening more about this volunteer transportation service, it sounds like an excellent resource in the community for people to get involved in. So, how can we get involved in? Is there a phone number? Is there a website? Let's hear about that. How people can volunteer to drive for this transportation service.
Yes, actually, we have a website. It would be www.comcafasi.org. Or you can call us directly at our program, area code 262-842-7433. And they can ask for me, and we will sit down and go over the program with them. It's just such a much needed service for the Kenosha County residents. We also do reimburse drivers 42 cents a mile. I just wanted to let that be known. But what they basically need to do is contact me, and I will give them as much information as I can.
And the website again?
www.CAFASI, that's Kenosha Area Family and Aging Services.org.
And a phone number?
842-7433, and the area code is 262.
Well, Barb, once again, this is an excellent resource in the community. Thanks for sharing what you have to offer, and thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
Welcome back, and here in the studio we have a special guest who does a lot for the state of Wisconsin, the Honorable State Representative Peter Barca, Wisconsin State Assembly District 64.
Okay, Jason, thank you. Great to be back on the show here and back at our Time Warner studio here and talk about things going on in our state and our wonderful community at Kenosha Racine.
Well, thank you so much for coming on down. I know you're very busy, and we thank you for stopping on down. For those maybe who don't know what a state representative does, what's your role in the assembly?
Well, sure. I mean, let me start with my role as being a legislator and what legislators generally do. And then, of course, I'm the minority leader, meaning that I'm the Democratic leader in the Wisconsin legislature. So I'll talk a little bit about that too. So, generally speaking, just to start off, a state representative's job, obviously, basically is to make laws, sort of what you think of as a legislative duty. That's the legislative branch of government. But of course, legislators do a lot more than just that. You serve on commissions, you serve as a leader within your community to try to work together with on an intergovernmental basis with city and county board and other municipalities, and I do that regularly. I get together generally almost every Monday with city council members, a mayor, county board, or county executive, and talk over how we can work together to get things done for the greater Kenosha and Racine areas. And then, of course, you serve on committees in the legislature, and you try to work to help individual constituents when they have problems with state government, a problem with their unemployment, for instance, or maybe insurance issues or things of that sort. So you're sort of an intermediary at times to help your people within your community. So that's basically the role. And as a minority leader, I have the great privilege of being in charge of the Democrats in the legislature. So that means I get to appoint all of our members to what committees they serve on, what commissions they might be part of, helping to put together legislative bills and fashion alternatives to the governor's policies when we disagree, and so that's the role, and I enjoy both of those roles very much.
What laws have you passed in the past that you could talk about?
Well, let me talk about a few things. At the end of the last session, it just went into effect in this session. One of the things I've worked for a long and hard on, and on a bipartisan basis, actually it turned out to be the majority leader and myself as a minority leader that teamed up to pass oral chemotherapy to make it so that people who are battling cancer, as opposed to having to go in to a medical clinic to have IVs put in there into them, that for those types of cancer that can be addressed through oral chemotherapy through pills, that it would be treated economically the same way. Prior to us passing this bill, it was much more expensive in many cases for people to get oral chemotherapy. So this was sort of equalizing it, leveling the playing field, letting physicians and the patients decide what's the best treatment for them. And ironically, with the company that I headed, Aurora Associates International, prior to coming back in the legislature, we have one of our key staff people that was battling cancer, and she was able to try this, and it really worked extremely well for her. So it was very near and dear to my heart. It was really a huge advancement, great bipartisan victory. So that was a plus. Also, I worked together to pass various TIF laws, and that would serve as to improve the circumstances for our local communities that had economic development opportunities. And then I serve as our representative on the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation Board. In fact, we just had our board meeting in Milwaukee yesterday. Wow. So in that capacity, and that's really the issue that I spend most of my time on, is economic development, employment and training, job development, to try to help to build our economy, to try to create jobs. And in that capacity, I get to work on a wide array of things, whether it was approving and trying to shepherd through the package for Amazon that brought I think it's over 1,500 jobs now at this point to Kenosha County, or Kenall, who we put together a package for them, or many other companies, as well as the broad policy, to try and govern how we approach working with businesses and how we try to help entrepreneurs to get the capital they need to grow and expand. So those are the kinds of things that I've spent most of my personal time on in terms of things that I think are important to our community and important to our state as a whole.
Being an election year, does that help or hurt the state assembly? Is it business as usual, or do things go at a standstill in this year?
Well, it really does slow down, and much to my chagrin, because there's so much work that was left undone in terms of trying to pass more aggressive jobs bills, employment and training bills, infrastructure. According to the Federal Department of Transportation, we have the third worst infrastructure in the country. We also have the third highest student debt. These are issues that we did not properly and fully and aggressively tackle. And when we came up with the calendar for the legislature, I had proposed that in the election year, that the legislature come back in the fall. And it's always up to the majority party, and we were in the majority my first couple years back, and now we've been in the minority, and I respect whoever's in the majority to make those decisions. But at least it should be there, so when we have opportunities, when we can see a clear need, that we can come back. And as I mentioned, we still have 2 floor periods left for limited floor review, and to also review any vetoes by the governor. And there's a contract out there. The people who, from the building trades, the plumbers, electricians, operating engineers, and the rest of them that work for the state, negotiate in good faith. They have their contract approved, but it's not come up yet. So if we do not come back into session during one of the final 2 floor periods set aside the next couple months, that means they have to wait 7 more months in order to get their contract ratified by the legislature. This was done to the State Patrol 2 years ago, and I was very aggressive in pushing for a change to be able to bring up these contracts. I think it is so wrong that when employee groups negotiate in good faith and they come together with the state, so everybody agrees we want to get this ratified, but then we just don't do our job in the legislature, that's wrong. So that concerns me enormously. So, the other issue maybe I'd just bring up briefly, if you don't mind,
Sure.
is, part of the role of the minority sometimes is to stop things, bad things from occurring. And a couple things maybe I would cite that I think were very important that we did stop. And of course, we had only a certain degree of success. But, Wisconsin has always been known for clean, open, and transparent government. We stand on the border of Illinois. The last 2 governors of Illinois are in prison. You have local, state officials indicted in Illinois, it seems like regularly. And in Wisconsin, we had a bad bout there for a period. And it's something that does not sit well with Wisconsin citizens, nor should it, to not have clean, open, and transparent government. In this session, I was so disturbed when they eliminated the GAB, our Election and Ethics Watchdog. I was so disturbed when they passed the new campaign finance law to be able to allow, significant sums of corporate money with far less transparency. As a Brennan Center, we went from being first to last in terms of transparency for campaign finance. Jay Hecht from the from one of the nonpartisan citizen groups said we went from first to worst. And but the one thing we did stop was just before the 4th of July weekend, the Joint Finance Committee had passed on a partisan motion, all Republicans in favor, all Democrats against, to make it much harder for citizens to have access to open records. Now, these are records that the taxpayers pay for. They have every right to have these records, and unfortunately, they tried to curb this. We went to bat, called newspapers, radios, TVs around the state, and because of the public outcry, we did stop that change. Now, the Republican leadership said they're going to bring it back, so we need our citizens to be vigilant. One more change. During the budget, the governor tried to do two things in particular that I thought were not a good reflection on Wisconsin that we blocked. One was he tried to eliminate our local county-run aging and disability center that helps seniors. My mother passed away this last summer, and thank God for the ADRC, for our local aging and disability center. They helped us to get her at Brookside and to coordinate home care when she was able to go home. And we need that kind of localized delivery of services. The governor wanted to eliminate it, have it be done on a state-type basis, regional basis, and we did stop that, thankfully. Another change, our state retirement system. We're one of only two that are fully funded in the country. It serves not only our retirees well, but it also serves the taxpayers well because it's fully funded. There's no, there's no balances there that taxpayers have to make up, as is the case in 48 other states, Illinois being one of the worst. And the governor tried to change during the budget to make it be a partisan type of operation, where the majority party could put their people in charge of the fund, overseeing the fund. And we stopped that. Right now, it's the group is put together by the pensioners. It's one of the best run funds in the country, and we were able to block that.
The last question is, what do you feel the future of the state of Wisconsin and Kenosha County?
Well, I feel, Kenosha County and Racine County, we're doing very well overall. I just came from CABA's annual meeting, and statistics look good. We've had a lot of great growth in our county. I think CABA does a remarkable job, as does RC, EDC, in working with businesses and our local officials. We work in very close concert with them, and I think we've created a positive environment by creating industrial parks that offer them the land and expansion opportunities. And even going back to when we passed the utility holding company bill back in the late 80s when I was first in the legislature, I think we set the right framework. So I think our future is bright, and I think for the state of Wisconsin, I trust the people. I think that we've got a remarkable group of citizens that care deeply about their state, and I think the future will be good because we have a lot of natural and positive assets. We have a great heritage as a state. So right now, I'm not fully in tune and is supportive of the governor's policies, which I think have been rather aggressive. Over the long term, I think we'll come back to the middle again. I think that's where we need to be.
Okay, well, on that note, let's give a big round of applause to our state representative, Peter Barca, at the Wisconsin State Assembly, District 62.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
And we'll be right back. Okay, here we are at Safe Harbor Humane Society, and I'm with your name.
I'm Doug Bolin.
And your role at here, Doug?
I'm the fundraising and volunteer coordinator.
Well, you definitely have done your job because we talked last time and you're just in the constructing stage of the new addition, remodeling of the Safe Harbor, and I gotta admit, this is just really, really impressive. Maybe step us back a bit. How did this all begin?
Well, back in 2013, we started a capital campaign to start raising funds for this new addition. We needed more room because we just keep getting more and more animals, so we ended up constructing this plan, it ended up running about $350,000. So we had to ask the public to continuously donate and donate. We had lots of very big donators, and everybody really threw in, put in their share, and after 2 years, we were able to construct this, and it's working out perfect. Everyone is loving it.
Now, where are we standing in here? Did the entranceway change at all?
Oh yeah, we have a brand new entrance. If we were out here this time last year, we'd be in our front yard. So we extended out towards 60th Avenue. Right behind us is actually where that open foyer is. That was the original entrance, and now we've brought it back towards the parking lot and extended the entire building further out.
Okay, Doug, this is the reception area here, and remodel looks absolutely terrific, lighting and everything. What goes on in here?
Well, this is where all of our front office work gets done. Before, it was a little bit more crowded, so when we would hold things, events like our vaccine clinics, even when we got more crowded, there just wasn't much room for people to stand and wait with their dogs. So we expanded out. We gave our office staff a little bit more room to be able to operate behind there, and then just kept expanding out. So back here, this is where all the dogs will come in and leave. All their intake paperwork gets done here, and when they're adopted out or go to a rescue, all the paperwork comes right back through here. And so this is the beginning and the end for all the dogs during their stay here.
And what we have behind us, still a gift shop?
Oh yeah, we have tons of available retail still up on the wall for purchase. Lots of our very unique shirts that people just love to come in and buy. We're always getting new styles, lots of dog toys, very cheap collars, everything you might need, even from pet care products like litter boxes. We have lots of harnesses, all sorts of things.
Okay, Doug, well, again, great expansion behind us. Let's talk about what's behind us.
All right, well, right behind us is probably the most exciting part of the expansion, and that's our 2 free-roaming cat rooms. This is something we've never had before, and everyone was just basically doing backflips when these opened up. Back on December 19th, we put in 12 complete stranger cats who'd never met each other, and we just hoped for the best. And they went in there. Every single one of them got along. They all started stretching out. There's lots of towers for them to play on. The public comes in. They interact with them. Our volunteers come in and interact with them. And their adoption rate, we're having a hard time keeping cats in the free roaming room. They're getting adopted that much faster. The cats are happier. People are seeing them in more of a home-like environment. And even though right now it's still not exactly kitten season, and we're at the end of our slow time, we've got 4 cats in right now, and as soon as they're ready, they get to go in there. But yeah, this is what it was all about. We needed more room for the cats. We can put about 15 in each room, and these rooms are a revolving door. I usually don't see a cat stay in there for longer than a week before a cat finds a home.
So the cats still are in those cages and then get brought out here to roam around?
Yes. In order to come into the free roaming room, all the cats must be fixed, vaccinated, and a lot of the cats when they come in get an upper respiratory infection, which is just a cold for a cat. So we wait for them to get that, and then we treat them with the antibiotics so that they're not re-spreading the germs. So once they've been sick and treated and fully ready to go, they go into the blue room, and they also have to get along with other cats.
Okay, Doug, on that side was 2 free cat roaming rooms, and on this side is a new area too. Let's talk about what we have here.
Yes, we're currently in what we call the community engagement area. This is during normal business hours. It's expanded lobby space so that people coming in with their pets, they're not so confined anymore. But we hold many events out here. This is where we'll bring in schools of children. They come in and they learn about Safe Harbor, Girl Scouts. Once a month we hold dog training for all of our new dog walking volunteers in here. And we usually have groups of about 30 for those. So it's a much bigger area. We can get together. Every couple of months we hold volunteer association meetings as well. All the Safe Harbor volunteers come in. We talk about things that are working really well, things that they want to see improvements on, and we feed off of each other's ideas just to keep making Safe Harbor in general a much better experience. What I really like about this is the whole atmosphere has changed. With the old shelter, you came in, it was small, it was confined, and it looked like a sad place. And sad is not the theme that we want associated with the shelter. So you walk in now and you see, it's a much happier environment. You see cats enjoying themselves. It's bright, it's big, it's large, and it works very well. We also hold more retail here too. Use the space.
Well, Doug, thanks for showing us around here. And there was actually one more thing in the cat room. So you had new flooring done, is that right?
Yes, in the pre-existing room, we put a brand new floor in that matches, it goes along with the new flooring out in our new addition. And then some volunteers from Uline also came in and painted it a nice kind of purplish gray color, just to give it a little more of a makeover and just keep going with the theme of, we're a happy place.
Well, the cat room got done, new cat room floor, open area. So let's hear about the dog room. Is there anything going to be in the future for expansion of the dog room?
Absolutely. Right now, if you go back into the dog room, those are the original kennels from 1983 when this building was first put up. So standards have changed, and we're working together to try and get a brand new dog room. So we want to demolish that room and start from scratch with state-of-the-art kennels and more areas that we can isolate dogs that need it so that it's not as stressful when they first come into the building.
So more fundraising, which means more events. Let's hear of any upcoming events we can come to support the Safe Harbor Humane Society.
Absolutely. Walk for Paws is going to be held this year on August 21st, and we're doing something a little different. This is the first year we're not hosting it at Lincoln Park. We're moving it to Anderson Park in Kenosha, which is an actual dog park. So we're going to have some great music that's already lined up, and the lure course is making its way back. It's going to be a really good time. We'll be getting our walking teams together very soon.
Well, one thing we do stop in here is to adopt. So let's hear about, for information, if people want to adopt a dog or a pet, or a cat, what's the process?
Absolutely. First, you can always head to our website, which is www.safeharborhumanesociety.org. Every available pet that we have is always listed on the website, and it's also listed on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Safe Harbor Humane Society. If you want to come in, everybody is free to come in and look at every available dog we have anytime during our business hours. And then after that, it's just filling out the adoption application. We get rolling on approving everybody, and then just try and match up a nice dog or a cat or a ferret with a new home and give them their second chance.
Website and phone number.
www.safeharborhumanesociety.org. Phone number is area code 262-694-4047.
And riding in here, we definitely see a new sign out in front, and the address here for the Safe Harbor Humane.
Yes, it is 7811 60th Avenue. That's Kenosha, Wisconsin, 53142. And we're all very proud of that big sign out front. Now people can't say they don't know where we're at.
Right. Well, once again, I am just impressed on this new addition, remodeled Safe Harbor Humane Society. So please come on down to Safe Harbor. And Doug, thanks so much for talking with us.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Mm-hmm.